I don't see anybody around.
Remember, they appear near you out of nowhere.
But we don't have the weapons from the game.
All we need to do is find the control room. This looks like the level it is on. Let's split up and try it.
Oh, wonderful. What a great idea. What could possibly go wrong?
Well, today was Edward Burns his face off day, and as you can see, I am not embarrassed, I am sunburned. We had a film shoot today, and even though I was wearing a hat, and for the most part was not standing out in the sun, I got sunburned anyway! Because in Arizona, you do not have to be directly in the sunlight to get sunburned. You just have to be in Arizona somewhere, anywhere. You could be in the darkest corner of the coldest, darkest, dankest cellar or dungeon in the world, and you'll get blamma right in the face. So anyway, so I had this lovely sunburn. Now, let me tell you about one of the joys of Arizona. Okay, we have a heat advisory warnings. They take place, excessive heat warnings, I'm sorry. They take place pretty much all year round. But we have excessive heat warnings for Monday through Thursday of this week. So, what days am I driving out to the school 102 miles each direction with no air conditioning? Monday through Thursday. So I'm really be fortunate if we have a diary after this one. But no, not really. I've done this before, and I go out there and I come back before it gets its hottest. I go out there I leave here about 7 in the morning, so it's down in the 90s. And I get back about 1:30 in the afternoon. So it is, you know, like 100, 101. And then right about 3, 4, 5 o'clock it turns to 179 degrees and we all die. So that's part of the fun of living in Arizona. I generally do not get sunburned. I'm usually smarter than this. But today I just screwed up. Anyway, so this episode. Well, we have the school. I'm going to take you out there for some of it, so you can see, for those of you who haven't been out there before, this will be a new experience though, because even though I have filmed the school before, it's always been in a classroom, room 201. This year we're going to be in the media room, it might be a different environment altogether. So we have that coming up. We have, like I said, I just did a film shoot today, so have some behind those scenes on that. We got some good behind the scenes on that one. So that'll be coming up. And then I'm actually not working on props. This is very exciting. So we don't have that coming up because I'm not working on props. But some other things that will be happening. And since I'm doing the school thing, it probably won't be a road trip because, well, first of all, there's a heat advisory. And secondly, I'm not going to have enough gas to go anywhere else because I'm traveling 800 miles a week for the next 4 weeks. That's what it boils down. When I say it like that, it sounds a heck of a lot worse. But it's not a bad drive. And most of you know that because you've been with me when I've gone out there. So, that notwithstanding, we'll also have, in this episode, I'm sure some kind of goofiness. I'll try to find something else to throw in here. So, without any further ado, let's get going! Well, it's stupid o'clock in the morning, and I'm getting ready to leave. As you can tell, I just washed my hair and it's going pina everywhere. So this is the plan for this morning. It's the first class, my first group of kids. Everything is in the car right now. Hopefully the car is still out there. And we'll stop and get breakfast at McDonald's, like I've always done before going to these things. And then we'll be on the road for about an hour and 15 minutes, hour and a half, something like that. Unless they're doing road work. Oh, God. Anyway, and hopefully I should get there by about 8:30. Okay, right now it's 6:15, and I need to get out the door by 7. So, yeah, so we're going to go do this, and 102 miles each direction. It's not a bad trip. Now, you notice, like I mentioned before, that I had the sunburn on my face. Yeah, that was from yesterday. Well, it's not quite so bad today as it was yesterday. Because we were filming right in the middle of the heat of the day. But I'm driving out there in my car with no AC. First thing in the morning before it gets hot, and I get home sometime around 1:30ish. So we don't hit the heat of the day, you know, either direction. It's hotter coming back, obviously, but not as bad going out. So I had my fan mister thingy, the spritzer, and put some water in my ice chest, and we should be good to go. So let's get this show on the road. Okay, here we go. Alrighty, first stop, Mickey D's. Get some breakfast. Then on the road for 77 hours to get to the school. Yes, this feels very familiar. I think I did this before, like for the last 4 years. I'm not sure I'm awake yet.
Scottsdale over the past few days.
We'll put on the news really loud and listen to all the horrible things that are happening now.
The business dropped more than 65%
Here we go.
to just over $29
I got
million.
my food.
That's a 2-week domestic total of about $149 million, which is still less
Time
than
to get on the
World
freeway.
debut weekend. An American Dream Miami,
I did
when
put the
completed,
accent
will
on
be
the
the
second
largest
syllable
mall
on
in
it.
the U.S. It'll feature a huge indoor pool,
The one
indoor
thing I'm
ice rink,
disappointed from last
artificial
year
ski slope, submarine
is the fact
rides,
that McDonald's no longer
restaurants, and
carries
self-service
Coke
shops.
Zero.
The Florida Mall is
They
expected
have
to open
Diet
next
Coke.
spring and attract
But I've gotten
30
used to it,
million
so.
people annually. Stacey,
And as much as I'm trying to stay and have very good about staying away from caffeine, I had a short night and early morning, so I'm just going to have to deal with some caffeine.
Not a lot going on, my friend. One freeway crash. It's on the 60 westbound at the Alma School.
And the one freeway crash has nothing to do with me, so that's a good start.
The surface streets, these you got to take seriously.
All right.
There's closures involved.
Off we go.
Eastbound.
So today I'm concentrating on not taking the wrong exit. There goes 7th Street. And I can see the exit for the 17th down there, so I'm not going to take the wrong exit. No, sir, not me. No wrong exit. Check this out. See how nice you can see me? Now check this out. Watch this. Oh, shade. Up, son. Up, shade. Up, son. Yeah, this is not what I call the high point of the ride. It's the slow part of the ride. We have an incline coming up, and this is a major trucking route. So all the trucks slow down and go to the far right. And some of the truckers want to go past other truckers. So they kick their speed all the way up to like 30 miles an hour to go around when it's going, 25, and stops everybody cold. And since we're going up a hill, and I have a little 4-banger engine, it kind of chugs when it goes up the hill. We haven't gotten to that point yet, but we're almost there. So this is where, if it wasn't for this one part, I could probably get there a lot quicker. Well, they were working on this road a year ago, and they still are in the same location. And the only thing that they've done different that I've seen is they added a roundabout back there, which makes it take even longer to get this direction. I think that's the opposite of what they were trying to do. And it looks like we got another one. No, it's just the road freaks out. So, I gotta tell you that ADOT have got, another roundabout here. They have got to be the slowest I have ever seen. It's just crazy. This road used to be straight. It doesn't appear to be straight anymore. It appears that the work they did on it was to make it go.
We're not aware of...
And now, instead of having 2 lanes going each direction, we have 1 lane going each direction. And the speed limit is dropped from 55 to 35. So I guess I'm going to have to leave at 7 o'clock every morning if I want to get there on time. Dang! We're almost there. And man, not all that freaking work on the 260 added about, I don't know, probably added between 8 and 10 minutes to the ride time. Maybe a little bit more than that. Because I should have gotten here about 8:15. Alright, quiet down, guys. I should have gotten back here about 8:15, 8:20, and it's almost 8:30. So, here we are at the college. And I got to pull into the back. I'm used to pulling into the front here, but my parking area is in the back. Because my class is right next to the parking area in the back, which is a good thing.
1-888-271-0071 or visit goodfeedphoenix.com.
Less than 2 weeks after an all-time high,
Building
the
L
stock
should
market
be
experienced its
removed.
largest single-day drop in history. How does that affect you?
All right.
Are you worried and feeling...
And as you may have guessed I was going to say, Lafitte, we are here. Let's find our room and start moving stuff in. Well, this is my classroom. A far cry from the last one I had. This is the media room. They already have a big green screen here. We have a dressed room, which is a set, which I think we will utilize for our film. And I have died and gone to media heaven. Oh, but here's a person. Okay. Okay, here's some other for you. A gag. How many of you, now you might know this because I think you were in the classroom when we went over this, I'm not sure. Without looking at the page, I saw that. I said, without looking at the page, what's a gag? And I don't get it. What's a gag? Anybody guess? Make a guess. No matter how far out you think it, make a guess. What?
Like if you get bit by the vampire.
No. That is gagging, that's not a gag. A gag is a stunt. You alright?
It's the Mountain Dew fault.
On the last Monday, it's going to be a little bit looser on what we do. You guys will have the opportunity, and Mia wants to know this, even though she's got the hiccups now. You will have the opportunity next Monday to redo any of the props you want to do. Okay? So if you want to try the quicksand prop because you didn't like the way you did it the first time, fine. If you want to do the plant prop, fine. Any of the props, any of the effects. You guys never did the alien abduction, so we could do that. You are just a cacophony of sound over here.
What's so funny?
My best record is 10.
What's so funny? I don't get it.
Okay.
It's fault, girl.
So, yeah, it's a Mountain Dew's fault. You know, this makes it very difficult to see out of my Sunday glasses because it's got water spit. All right, first day went okay. I love my classroom, it's awesome. I like my old classroom better, but I like this one quite a bit. And it is now time to go home, back to the old homestead. I'm going to get something to eat on the way home, and then I get 2 hours before I have to go to work. Yay! Anyway, so far so good. I think we're going to have another year full of stuff. Alright, let's go home. On my second day of classes, I was driving home and apparently there was an accident. The accident actually occurred at about 3:30 in the morning on 17 southbound, which is the direction I go home, where a cement truck went off the road. crashed, rolled over, spilled stuff all over the place. They were cleaning that up. So I'm driving home, and so I hit just a spot of traffic. A spot. It took an hour and a half to go about 6.5 miles. And right as I got to where the accident was, we could see, of course, that the truck is still on its side and they're still cleaning up. I get past that. Traffic starts to move. I pick up speed and suddenly I feel Flintstone, and my front left tire blew out. Now it didn't go flat, it blew out. Papina! Right out the side. So I pulled off the side of the road, looked at that. I was speaking in tongues, I might add. I got out of my car. I looked at that tire and I thought, I'm screwed. So I went to my trunk, I got out my jacked up the car. Was going to take the tire off and realized, oh look, I don't have a tire iron. I don't have a lug wrench. So I sat there going, well, I'm screwed times two. So I called my insurance company and they said, yeah, we're going to, they gave me the number to call the towing service. They said, yeah, we're going to be there in about 6 hours or something like that, because they were way past Bloody Base and I was up past Bumblebee Road, and that's about 20 miles there, and there was the traffic from the accident, right? So the cop comes up finally and he pulls up and he looks at the traffic and he looks at my car and he goes, well, first you had to deal with that and I had to deal with this. That's the way my day's gone. Well, he had a lug wrench. Go in there, pull the old tire out, put the spare in. The spare is one of those little donuts, those useless tires that they give you because they're too cheap to give you a real spare tire. So I put the donut on, put the car down. Cop says, you know what, I'll follow you down to the next exit there so we can get it off the road. You can make sure you got enough air in there and then you can go and get your tire replaced. I had a tire ready for me at a Discount Tires about 16 miles away. So I just had to go 16 miles. So I drove about 900 feet and and that tire went out. So I'm screwed times 3. So I called a very good friend of mine and he came out and we spent the entire evening trying to get that tire taken care of, because when the donut went kablooey, it broke off 2 of the lug bolts. Not the lug nuts, the lug bolts. So I had to nurse that car, got the spare tire, he drove me over, we picked up the tire. I got it, put it on the car, 2 bolts. It's on with 2 bolts. And we drive to the place where we got the tire from, and there was an auto parts store there, and we got the new bolts and nuts, and just with everything that went on. I left the school at 12 o'clock, well, about 12:15 that afternoon. I got home at 8:30 in the evening. That was my second day of school. Second day. Fortunately, the rest of them were fine, but that was not a fun moment in my life. When you're out there going, how in the heck I am, 48 miles from home and I'm 54 miles from the school. I'm right in the middle. How am I going to get home? But I finally got home, so. That was the excitement and the joy of my car ran great the entire time for all the, the 4 weeks that I was at school. My tires, on the other hand, didn't care too much for it. You know that the new fountain out on the porch, well, it's almost a year old now, so it's not entirely new, out on the Adventureland Porch has had a problem. It cracked, and now it's almost cracked in half. And I've had to do some putzing around to try to pull that pump out. So I went to Goodwill today to find something to replace that bowl, and I found this. I found it in just a matter of moments, as a matter of fact. And basically it's a tin bucket. It is actually formed on the inside corner, so there is no seam here. The seam is, where is it? It's right here. Seam is right here. So this should work. Now, since the bottom is hollowed out, I can put the pump in, bring the hose out through the bottom, seal that up with hot glue on both sides before we fill it with water, and then bring the line out the side. So basically, but the cord will still have to come up over the top, but I can kind of disguise that, push in the corner to disguise that. So this should work much better, and it sounds better. It's more acoustically perfect than that wooden bowl that I had to waterproof the daylights out of, and then apparently it didn't matter. So we're going to take care of this. Possibly now. Possibly later. We're over here in the Adventureland Porch, and you can hear I got the baseball game playing, the baseball playing, yeah. In the background. And I have this, and I was going to do this later in the week, in my plan. But, except for the airplane going by, and you probably can't tell, the air has gotten very still. Not a lot of wind blowing out here. The humidity has gone up about 30%, and the sky has turned gray. This is July, and those are the earmarks of a monsoon. So I'm going to try to clear some of this away before the monsoon gets here, which will probably be here in about 15 minutes the way it's looking. But let me show you what needs to be done here. Now we're back to working on the Adventureland Porch. It's very exciting. I'm not working on a prop. We're working on the porch. So let's, I'll show you what I need to do. As you can see, this is all pretty dusty. We haven't run the fountain for a while. And this has come loose. So I need to tighten that down also. This, the pump, I need to carefully disconnect the hose. And then I have to find where the cord goes, and I'm going to have to, now that I've disconnected the hose, I need to put this through the, put it through a test to make sure it still works, because it's pretty seized up, so this might take a while. Now the other thing I have to do is I have to remove this hose. Now this is held in here with hot glue. And hot glue on wood and plastic is pretty darn solid and permanent. So let's see if we can break it loose very carefully. Oh, it wasn't so difficult after all. Pull that out. And I didn't put my hair back, so it's going to get in my face while I'm up here. Carefully remove this poor old beat up thing. It's a good idea, it just didn't work. So what I need to do now is I have to secure this again, because you see it's coming loose, and I have to clean this out so when I do start to pump up again, it won't, you know, put all kinds of mud into the basin. So that's step 2. Well, the pump is working, and it was pretty full of crud. I mean, it just put it all over the place. So now I have to clean my sink out. But I'm going to let that run for a while and make sure it's completely cleared out. It's turned way, way down. I turned it up high and it almost hit the ceiling. So, yeah, I'll let that run for a bit. I got a bunch of these. I made these little short sponges when I was working on the plant prop for Mod Podging. And that worked just fine. Cleaning this mud out of here. And this really needs to be resecured because it's kind of leaning off to one side now.
McFarland's pitch, and strike 3 call, and Jay Kasky knew it. And McFarland pumps his fist as he heads to the dugout. Tough situation. The Diamondbacks get out of it. And the Padres leave the runner at third. We'll go to the bottom of the 11th.
I need to touch it up right here. Then I got to work this again. And I did not cut this really short, so I should have room to mess around with it and get it working right and fitting in that spot. Well, I thought instead of poking holes in the dang thing, because I had problems with leaking out of the other one, and I really don't want to push the envelope because this is a nice pan. I decided catch basin. I decided to instead just hide it. So I got the hose hidden back here. The cord is hidden back over here. The cord's black, so you can barely see it anyway. And just put some of the greenery over this. Move this into the corner. And that's fine. That does the job. I forgot that this thing sprays all over the place. I have to, so this time I can adjust the pan. Catch basin. I'll say it correctly eventually. There we go. And this thing, that hose was so clogged up, something got in there. It looked like maybe a carpenter bee was building his home inside here. Halfway down the hose, I had to run a wire through here and punch all the crud out of the hose. But both the fountains are working again. Makes me want to sweep up, put these two ice boxes away, and spend some time on my porch. Oh, I forgot. This guy. There we go. It's still pretty early in the day, but, well, not late in the afternoon, I'll say that instead. But the Adventureland Porch is back on its feet. And I'm pretty happy about that. Whoo, dog. It is humid out there. That monsoon's coming. I mean, the clouds are getting darker gray. There's a few splatters going on out there. It's going to hit us tonight. And I hope so, because I have my Adventureland Porch all ready for me to sit out there and enjoy it. And I don't know what else. I mean, there's a few other things that I plan to do with the Adventureland Porch. I've been working on it for almost 2 years now, as many of you know. And I'm not exactly sure what else I can do to it, except maybe get the big shade, you know, the bamboo shade that I can put out there and kind of enclose it. But I don't know. I kind of like it when it's open, but it does kind of kill the ambiance a bit. But hey, what can you do? And besides, people who walk by really do like to look in at my porch. I've noticed that a lot. Matter of fact, a few days ago, same to you. A few days ago, I went to the office, and there was a lady in there, and she says, "Oh, I've seen you. You guys got all that stuff on the porch." I said, yeah, that's me. She goes, "It looks so neat." And I told her what it is. You know, it represents about 1932, 35, South America, and it's based on Adventureland at Disneyland. She thought that was cool too. But hey, we all do what we do to be comfortable. Right now, I'm really uncomfortable because the humidity out there is like at 93%, and it's how warm is it out there? I'm going to check and see how warm it is out there. How warm is it out there? Oh, it's not going to tell me because I don't have weather. Oh, there it is. It is right now in Phoenix at 5:55. 110 degrees. With a humidity of 16%. Right, you fooled me. Dew point at 53%. The barometer is at 29 inches and it's falling like a rock. Yeah, we are going to have some rain tonight. It doesn't show it on here, but I'm be willing to put money on it. It looks like we got some days cooling down. It's going to get way down to 96 degrees on Thursday. I'm going to have to wear a sweater. Anyway, I'm going to end the show today here. and I'm going to let you in for those of you who follow kids stuff. Boy, I've been working on a lot of stuff besides the video blog, that's for sure. Those of you who follow Darkslade Diary, we have a major road trip coming up at the end of the month, and I'm going to take you on that. It's a major road trip along the lines of the major road trip that we did last year. A little bit different, but same basic idea. And so that ought to be, that's going to be a long episode, and that ought to be pretty cool. But I'll be filming that at the end of the month. Now, the way these things have been coming out, it might be the next episode. I hope not. I hope to get one more in. I do have a film shoot coming up on the 22nd, and we have the finishing a music video by next week, hopefully. So there's a lot going on. And Weeblefester is going to get his own Facebook page because he's popular, and I'm trying to keep his popularity up. Why? Because I'm going to release another Weeblefester film. As much as I don't want to do it. But I have other film projects I want to get done, and we need financing. And Weeblefester always brings in money into the budget. And the budget right now is looking pretty slim. So, yeah, that'll be coming up too. So, we'll see what happens on the next episode. In the meantime, you guys have yourselves a great week. End of line.